Alright, what's up? My name's Eric and welcome to My Endurance Life. In this video we are going to be going over the Topo Pursuit 2 versus the Topo Ultraventure 4 in a head-to-head like shoe-off. The reason I like making these videos is because if you're like me, chances are you're probably going to be eyeing one of these shoes for a race or a big training adventure or something like that. 50K, 50 miler, 100K. 100 miler, if you're training for a 100 miler, you definitely want to watch this video because at the end of this, one of these shoes is going to win and it's going to be the shoe that I'm going to wear for my next 100-mile race. So, the reason I like making these videos too is because when I was training for my first 100 mile, like, the shoe you're going to pick is huge because the last thing you want to be worried about is your shoe on race day, like if it's gonna last, how's your foot gonna feel in it. And I'm glad I found the Topo Pursuit 1 when we first did it, because if you're like me, you're finding Topo, especially the Pursuit. If you're here for the Pursuit, you used to run in Ultras. I used to run in Ultras, used to love them. I was a big fan of the Temp series. And then something changed with Ultra, and for some reason, the Temp 4 just really like tore up my heel, and I had to find a new shoe. So when I found the Topo Pursuits, the Pursuit 1s, originally, that I was stoked on it because they are very similar to the Ultra Temps, but in a better way. And so since then, as you can see, like all the shoes behind me are Topos. Want to be clear, I'm not endorsed or sponsored anything by Topo. I've bought all these shoes with my own money, and one of the reasons why I make these videos is because I am a US Ultra Running Certified Coach, and I have the privilege of working with people running towards their goals, and they ask me what I wear, what shoes I wear, what gear I wear. So I make these videos in response to their questions, and so this is a response to the last video that I made, which was a question from one of the athletes that I get to work with. Which shoe do I like better, the Mountain Racer 3 or the Ultraventure 4? So if you want to watch that video, I'll link to it at the end of this video, where you can just tap on the little thumbnail of it and you can watch that video to see which shoe wins out of those two shoes. But this video is about the Pursuit and the Ultraventure, so let's get more into that. Like I said, big fan of the Pursuits. Zero drop. If you like zero drop, you know, then the Pursuit's going to be like right up your alley. That foot shape, you know, design that Topo is famous for, the Ultra's famous for, why a lot of us wear it, for like that more like natural feel, if you want to call it that. But they do have some stack height. They means they do have some cushion. 28 millimeters. If you are one of those nerdy people who wants all the specs and all that, I put it down in the description below. So if you want to check out the description while I'm talking about the shoes, feel free to do that. But I'm not going to bore like everybody who's not interested in it, because for me, I'm really not interested in all that stuff like the weight or the stack height. I do like to know what the drop is, but I'm more interested in what the feel is, because like surfing, if it feels good, it's probably going to work good, and just because the dimensions say something doesn't mean it's going to work for you. So I like, you know, wearing the shoe and making these videos to tell you like what I'm feeling in it, because I would say I'm a good runner, but I'm not a gifted runner like you. I need to work at this stuff. It doesn't come naturally for me. Even though I've done big, long, hard races, I work for them, and I put a lot of time in these shoes to find out like what they're good at. So one thing the Pursuit is good at, zero drop. And another note about the Pursuit that a lot of shoe reviews don't say about these is it has a road shoe complement. So lots of times, like whether we want to run on trails 100% of the time, reality is that we can't. And it's nice knowing that the Topo Ultrafly is a good complement to this shoe. Zero drop, same stack height, feels identical, so you don't have to wear your trail shoes on the road. So if you're looking for a shoe that complements each other, the Pursuit might be an option for you. The Ultraventure, one cool thing about the Ultraventure is you can wear it on road or trails, because it doesn't have that super aggressive lug pattern that the Pursuit has. And one of the reasons why I started running Ultraventure is because I'm a dad, I'm a father, my kids are in high school and they run track. And so what I do is, so I don't miss my training but I can still get to watch them, is I'll run from my house to wherever the track meet is on the weekend. So I wanted a shoe that could go from road to trail to road to trail, because that's how I kind of map the route on the way to the different high schools from where we live. And so you might only need one shoe when it comes to a road shoe and a trail shoe. And the Ultraventure does that perfectly, where the lug pattern is not as aggressive, but is still good enough to where it works in almost any condition because of the Vibram. One of the things that Topo does not skimp on is the outsole, and that's, you know, the rubber on the bottom. They're both Vibram, just different tread patterns and different, like, I would say, compounds, where this is a little bit stiffer, like harder to press in, where this one's a little bit softer and just feels more cushiony when you're running. And it actually has like really good grip. Some of the training runs I do, I finish running strides where I'm running hard, and these actually grip the ground really good and propel me forward just fine. I wouldn't wear them for a marathon or a half marathon or anything like that, but for just general training runs, it's a great shoe, road or trail. One of the big gripes I have about the Pursuits though is, and you might like it, if you end up getting the Pursuits, you might like it, but their insoles, they've changed it to the new FKT Insole, and one of the reasons for that was because people were complaining that the Pursuit ones did not drain well enough when they got wet. So they came up with the FKT Insole. There's actually a really good premium insole, but I don't like it. And the reason I don't like it is because I wear Injinji toe socks when I run. And it almost feels like my toes are getting a wedgie. And I think it has to do with the bumps that are on the insoles, because as I'm running, especially like 10 miles or longer with these insoles in, it feels like my toe socks are just getting squinched down into like the webbing of my toes to the point where it really like almost starts to hurt, and I have to take my shoe off, stretch my toe socks out. But I've worn toe socks long enough, and I'm a firm believer in them, that I don't get blisters. I don't use any kind of like tape or squirrel's nut butter or anything like that on my feet, no matter if I'm running a 50K or a 100 miler. And I think it's because I found shoes that work combined with my toe socks that I don't get blisters. But I do want them to fit like they're intended and not like I feel like my toes are getting a wedgie. So I ditched these, and just one of the great things about Topo is that their design, the foot shape, you can change insoles. So I just took an insole out of one of my other shoes, put them in here, and that's how I've been running them since. So I just got a regular insole in here, and it seems to work fine, and I love it. So when it comes down to sizing, I always go up one size in my trail shoe, and all of my trail shoes are a size 10 behind me, so that means I wear a size 9 in my regular everyday shoe, which is a Vans slip-on. My everyday shoe is a Vans slip-on, and I wear a 9, so these I go up one size and I wear a 10, and that really helps with, I love running downhills. So if you love running downhills, you know that like the extra little gap in the bottom between your big toe and the front of your shoe makes all the difference in the world, so I'm not pounding into it and ripping off toenails. I've never lost a toenail since I switched to the Pursuit or Topo, and I actually finished my last 100-mile race wearing the Ultraventures. It was the Ultraventure 3 at the time, but these feel almost identical to them. They changed the outer a little bit compared to the Ultraventure 3, but it's one of my favorite shoes. So what shoe am I going to be wearing next? Oh, one more thing that I didn't like about the Pursuit is, for some reason, I don't know if they did it on purpose or they didn't notice, but the heel, this part, doesn't come up as high as on the Pursuit ones. These are kind of worn out, but I'll try to show it to you perfectly on the screen. If you can see that this is a little bit taller than the Pursuit 2. These are the Pursuit ones, and I've worn these for 200-mile races. Not this exact shoe, but I've gone through a couple pairs of Pursuits, and I've worn them in 200-mile races, and I love them. They're a great shoe. So, but this is lower, and for some reason the way they chopped it down puts a little bit of pressure on my Achilles, and I got these a couple weeks before the last 100-mile race that I did, and because of that, just, I don't know if it felt stiffer or what, but I did not feel comfortable wearing them for that race, so I actually wore these shoes, even though they had 300 miles on them already, put another 80 miles in them until I switched shoes at mile 80 something into the Ultraventure 3s to finish the race. But I wore them in the Sample 100, wore them for 80 miles in the Stagecoach 100 that I just ran, and they felt great. But I didn't feel confident enough in these just because they put, the way it's cut down lower just press my Achilles. Whereas the Ultraventures, they come up higher, way higher compared to the Pursuits. And you can see that. And they're actually flared back a little bit, so there's no pressure on my Achilles at all. So at the end of the day, when it comes down to my next 100-mile race, what am I going to pick? If you haven't guessed already, I am picking the Ultraventure 4, just because I'm not really too concerned about the aggressive lug pattern, because unless it's a loose soil with like gravel on top of hard pack, I don't slip. The only time the Pursuits really work better is in those situations is because of the more aggressive lug pattern, where it can get through that loose soil and get down to the hard pack to grip. But these work really well on rocks and technical situations. I've taken them up to our local mountains, like we do loops around the San Bernardino Mountains, where we have done like Mount Baldy and a couple other peaks around there, and I've worn these in the mountains in rocky, rooty, technical mountain terrain, and they do just fine. And that's why for the Mugion Monster, which I'm doing in September, these are going to be the shoes that I'm wearing for that race. So technical or not, like, I'm still confident in them. They're comfortable. The 5mm drop actually doesn't bother me that much. Actually getting to like it a lot better now that I'm running in them more. So if that helps you, let me know in the comments. If you like these versus videos, and also, like, if you want to learn more about my endurance life and working with me, like one-on-one as a coach or group coaching, or even have free 50K training guides, go to myendurancelife.com, click on any of the tabs in the top of my website. You know, I'd be stoked to work with you or just hook you up with that free training guide. Thanks for watching this. Leave a comment, like, subscribe, do all that other stuff, because I have more review videos coming out, more training videos, more Q&A, special guests, all that stuff. Like I said, I love running, talk about running, and helping other people like you become better runners. So I'll see you on the next one. Talk to you soon.